James and Ryan here from the Sweet Science of Fighting Jiu-Jitsu Instructional channel. We're going to talk about spinal alignment as another offensive principle. Make sure you check the description as well. Ryan's book is there where all this information is from.
We're going to talk about alignment, more specifically more like spinal alignment. This is very important to just kind of add. It's very subtle things you can just kind of add to your offense and defense. So just a quick example of alignment is guard. Everybody kind of knows this one where we're in full guard, right? And if James does not keep good spinal alignment and he keeps his head down, it's pretty easy for me to break him down, especially if I crown his head. Instead of anchoring, I crown his head and I can break his posture down. However, if he just takes his hands here and he just kind of looks up and he has good spinal alignment, it's going to be very difficult, even if I get a crown on his head, to get him down. So this is one example from the guard perspective of just having just basic good alignment. I have a guy who he's a black belt, and if you get him in his guard, if you get him in your guard, he does this, and you just can't break him down. This is very difficult. I mean, there's things you can do. You have to go to legs and all this stuff, but that particular in staying in alignment, that's the strongest you can kind of be. That's the strongest you can be in this specific type of position in the guard. You just try to be in a spinal alignment. Now, since we understand this, I know that if I'm being offensive, then I want to take him out of spinal alignment, right? So a good example of this would be side control. So if I'm in side control or on top, one of the things that's a very useful, it's a very simple way to think about this. If James is working out and he wants to do a bench press, it's probably in his best interest to stay in alignment, his spinal alignment, right? So that he can be straight and do a bench press, and he could lift a lot of weight that way. However, if James turns his ear to his shoulder and then now does a bench press, he could probably still do it, but it's going to be, I would suspect, substantially less. Bad form, injury probably, but substantially less weight, right? So because we kind of understand that, then how can I do that? It can be kind of hard to take spinal alignment through the hips, because you can also do this as well, and there's methods to doing that. One example would be just kind of throwing my legs here and kind of keeping them this way. That could be taking them out of spinal alignment. Twister positions and all this do this very well. But something very basic you can just do from day one is if I'm here and I have let's say just a basic side control. If I were to actually take his head and turn it to his side here, then it would be much harder for him to start to bench press and push. Now I really use this. I even take my hand and I'll push their head. I really only do this when somebody is just kind of trying to bench press me and push me off of them. Like somebody's just pushing and they're moving, and I'll just turn their head to the side, and it just makes it harder for them, and they end up spending more energy trying to actually get out. So something very simple is just try to turn their neck. A lot of times we're taught in crossface, and again, and you should do this, it's not wrong, is just to crunch the chin down and make them look this way. And that absolutely is correct. You should be doing that. But this is another thing to consider when somebody is being more kind of spazzy and trying to push you. If you can just turn their head to the side, it reduces the amount of strength that they have to push. So that's just another example from top perspective of taking someone out of spinal alignment. But there are other places you can find this. And just to think about and consider, especially if you're going with somebody much stronger, or somebody just kind of wants to throw you off of them. This is a good technique you can use that's just very subtle and very simple.